Okay, people. So this documentary is kind of fucking crazy, right? I feel like when you hear about this, you just kind of like, nah, that ain't possible, right? Now, I think the big thing is, right. So yeah, I should. The documentary is "Hold Your Breath: The Ice Dive," right? And man, I can't remember when, but I remember listening to Win Hoff on the Joe Rogan Experience, and it was just fascinating. Now, I'd already known about cold plunges, the benefits of those things, right? But the way Hoff broke it down, you know what I mean? And the things that he can do, you were just like, yo. So when I saw this, you know what I mean? Because at first without knowing about Hoff, I would have been like, nah, there's something, this cannot be real. But it's like after hearing, and understanding what Hoff can do, you understand, oh shit, people can do this stuff, man. So it's just like, yo, what can this young lady achieve? Right. So the documentary is directed by Ian Derry, and it's focusing on Johanna Nordblad, who is a free diver, you know. Also, we have her sister, Elena Maninen, right? So yeah, there are two main focuses of this. The music is from Galia Bizengaliva. It is edited by Julian Quantrill. Sound is Paul Darling. Camera work is uh and cinematography is Teppo Salonen and Tomi Stenquist. Then additional music is Robert Ames, Ben Corrigan, and Chauvin Jaman. So yeah, the gist of this craziness is we follow free diver Johanna Nordblad in this documentary as she attempts to break the world record for distance traveled under ice with one breath. Yeah. So it's not just swimming under the ice, it's with one fucking breath, right? Which, that just seems insane. Seems insane. Now, I think when she talks about it, it says like, oh, it could be about 3 minutes. Which when you look at that, you know what I mean? I've definitely heard people that can hold their breath for, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. I think Lad, um, shit, I forgot homie's name. He's a surfer. But I think he was saying that he could hold his breath for, this long period of time. So yeah, that's the thing. But then when you couple it with ice cold water, right? Ice cold water. Nah. Because I've I've been held under surfing, right? One time I came off my board and then I just got caught, like, you know what I mean, just with the current. And so you're just pulled down, yeah, and it's just like it's crazy, right? Because you're trying to hold your breath and you're just like, "Ugh, I don't know how much longer I can do with this shit." And that felt forever, right? And it probably wasn't longer than a fucking minute. You know what I mean? But that, boy, I mean, as soon as I managed to get to the surface, it's like, so I don't even, yeah, I'm just me. I ain't attempting shit like this, but we really get, this look inside what is driving Johanna to do this, So obviously, right, someone who's doing this, they were always down for this kind of craziness ever since she was a little girl. So, you know what I mean? It's just all of that and how she would, tell her sister, yo, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't about girls things, boy things. I'm just wanting to do this shit. Right. So never think to yourself, oh, that's a boy thing. Nah, we can do this shit too. Right. So boom, that's I think that's a great attitude to have. You know what I mean? And I also feel right with this documentary, regardless of the ice aspect, like I think it is something that, you know what I mean, should definitely be shown to girls. I mean, it should be shown to everyone, but definitely girls, right? Because it's that mindset of no, no, no. There's not this boy thing, girl thing. This is just like, yo, if you want to do it, be determined to do it, and let's go. Right now, obviously, there's gonna be some things that, you know, a guy might have more luck with, right? And something like this, where you have to hold your breath, because for the most part, guys have a larger lung capacity. You know, I think you can train yourself to, you know what I mean, give your lungs more ability to hold that oxygen, but there does come these limits. So that's what makes this even bigger, right? The fact that she could train herself to do this, you know, because I think the men's record, do you know what I mean? Like when they break down what that is, you know what I mean? It gets mad interesting, right? So we just have this look and everything like that. But then also, and what makes sense, right? She doesn't dive alone. Her sister always comes out with her. And yeah, it makes sense because if you get into trouble, you know what I mean? There's someone to kind of help, but it's kind of dark too. Because this is like, yeah, you know, there's certain points that if something went down, I couldn't do anything. So, I mean, and we talk about the worst case scenarios, you know what I mean? And sometimes I think maybe I'll be driving home alone, and it's just like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? Just imagine having that thought in your fucking head. But then, like, they asked the sister, like, you know what I mean? Would you rather she doesn't do this shit? Right. And you know, a lot of the times when we watch these things and someone's like, yeah, I'd rather, but I'm not gonna hold them back. But this is like this is gangster too. This is like, no, you know what I mean? She's gotta do this. This is what she loves to do. This is what drives her. You know what I mean? So it's just, although we see Johanna doing the challenge, there is this support system around her, which is, you know, mad interesting. And you know, it's just the breakdown of the challenge, everything that goes into it. It is pretty fascinating. Also, right, it is how global warming kind of affected everything, you know, which I kind of, you kind of think to yourself, wait, but isn't ice just ice? Right? But you know, there's a nuance to it all, which yeah, definitely wasn't thinking about. Right. And then the pandemic, you know what I mean? That factors into everything. So I'm figuring that this probably started in 2019, you know, because there was a little delay. So then the next year, it's like, oh, and then so yeah, I'm figuring it was 2019 when this first started. So we just see that impact of things. It is, yeah, it is super interesting, right? Mad intriguing. And yo, just watching that challenge, fuck people. It is, yo, you just need to watch it, right? This it's not long, it's 40 minutes, right? It kind of flies by. You know, I ain't gonna lie, there's certain info you'd be like, yo, I'd like to know more, man. But you know, I think it does get behind the nuts and bolts, as it were. And we have this fascinating look at Norbland and this whole attempt and the mindset around it, just all of that jazz. It is super fascinating. So yeah, if you're into extreme sports, right? If you are into Win Hof, if you just like interesting shit, then Hold Your Breath, the ice dive, is definitely something you will want to check out, people, for sure. And it's on Netflix, right? So I think most people got Netflix, you know what I mean? Or someone else's fucking password, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, people, you got 40 minutes. Go check this out. It will whew, change the way you look at everything.